So I just went to go see One Love, featuring Bob Marley's story. And I have to say that it was really, really good. The acting by Lashana Lynch and what is his name? Kingsley Ben-Adir was so good. The acting was so good. And they really mastered the patois dialect and stuff like that. So I just want to do like a little brief review of what I experienced. So basically, it kind of hones in on like the two to like a 5 year life, not 5 year lifespan, but like 5 year period in his life that was most crucial. And so it's kind of this sort of towards the end of his life, but not quite at the end of his life, but these pivotal moments where he's like in Jamaica, and like Jamaica is going through civil unrest and all this stuff, and he's already big and kind of famous in his own little right, in his own like corner of the world, right? And then he's just making some major decisions because there's like a lot of political unrest and people are getting shot up and killed and all this stuff, right? And so he's having to make, decisions to, keep his family safe, and, being asked to perform in these kind of peace rallies in a sense so that he can bring the peace. And I don't know, it's just this kind of pivotal moment, in his life where he's making huge decisions and in his career and stuff like that. So that's really the gist of the story, just focuses in on these like 5 years time span where he starts to make like the music that all of us know, that really blew him up, that helped him go worldwide or whatever with his music. And so that's really the gist of it. It really sort of shows you the essence of how he became who he was, and sort of the traumas that led to who he became and his belief system and how he led his life. And it was this beautiful sort of different montages and different like sort of capsules of his essence and capsules of what made him him, all the struggles and the trials and tribulations and the things that he journeyed through to create such epic and life-changing music that we still listen to today, over 30, 40 years later, So that's basically what the movie is about. But then it also just the performances by, Bob and all the supporting cast, and Lashana, who plays Rita Marley, his wife or whatever. And they did such a great job. At first, I would probably give this movie an 8 out of 10, right? And the reason why I would take off 2 stars is because the first like 30 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes or so, I can't remember how long this movie is, but the first few moments of the movie, there's a lot of different montages and all that stuff, but it kind of lacks form. It kind of lacks like story making. But as the movie goes along and picks up towards the middle, you start to get the gist of like why, they placed it in this way and why everything is this way. But in the beginning, it feels kind of like the structure feels like unstable, and then like the structure of the movie and the story starts to pick up speed towards the middle and the end of the movie. So that was the main reason, but it was still worth watching. Like it's still like I cried at the end. It was so good, the acting, and you could just feel Bob's essence, like, and that was another thing that I noticed too was Kingsley at first, like, I didn't feel like in the very, like, beginning of the movie, I felt like there was a little lack of Bob's essence, because I've watched a lot of Bob's interviews and stuff over time, because I just love him as an artist and what he represents and his energy and all that stuff. And so I've watched a lot of his interviews and watched documentaries on him and stuff like that, and been communion with his essence for a while, right? And sang a lot of his songs, performing and stuff. But so when I first watched it, I thought he didn't really embody the essence of Bob. But then as the movie went along, I started feeling that energy, like Bob's energy sort of like encapsulated him as the movie went on. So really, they both did such a really good job. And that's my overall rating, is probably 8 out of 10. Definitely still worth going to see, right? Like, outside of the lack of structure in the beginning, it would be a 10 out of 10, right? But like, because of that, I'm deducting 2 points, but it's still worth seeing because it's going to move you in ways that you didn't need to know. And Bob's message is just so potent, more now than ever. That's kind of what happens when you have these legends, right? These goats, right? Where their message just transcends all time, because humanity is always going to be messed up to some degree. So the message of, unity and I and, coming together is always more potent now than ever, all the time, right? So definitely a must watch. Definitely go check it out. One love.